What is up, guys? Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the Bearded Tog. A really cool thing that you might have missed, our customizable wedding guide template that we give to couples after they book. It's got information, inspiration, timelines, outfit tips, second photographer information, album information, 25 different topics. It is so powerful of a branding position and a marketing position, and then it positions us as an expert, which is really, really cool. Allows us, our clients, to trust us, which I think is, the easiest way to get them to help you make the best photos you can, and helps you charge more, which I think is really cool because we all like making more money. So if you're in that spot right now where you don't have a resource like that, we just had our launch last week and it went so well. So I want to thank you guys for that. But if you are still wanting to get that, you can definitely go grab that. If you're not able to raise your prices or your value right now, this is the easiest way to help your couples and position you as an expert. Head over to mpweddingguide.com. Start customizing your own today, all right? mpweddingguide.com. Today, I've got a really, really cool guest. She is a Brooklyn-based Senegalese photographer. Went to school in Paris, studied with Peter Beard. Absolutely incredible, just visual, creative. I would say she's like a digital mixed media artist, whereas photography is the core and how that's expressed. So absolutely incredible conversation. If you are an artsy person, which you should be, if you're really into, like Rebecca Yale's episode, right, where she's just going super, super deep, this is going to be the episode for you. So that person is Delphine Diallo. She is absolutely incredible photographer, creative out of New York City. I would encourage you to listen to this one all the way through. Absolutely a banger. Without any further ado, here's Delphine Diallo. Delphine, how's it going?
I'm good. Everything is good.
That's awesome. You're in Brooklyn right now? You're surviving, thriving, making it happen? I'm
in Bushwick and I'm thriving.
That's awesome. Bushwick is amazing. I stayed there 2 years ago with a friend, and it's like, it's artsy. It's still grungy enough. It's still Brooklyn, right? It's cool.
In the crisis that we're experiencing right now, to be around creative is the best. It's either you're in nature or you're around creatives.
That's awesome. That's cool. So I want you to fill in some of the gaps for me. I know that you're Brooklyn based now, went to school in Paris, and now full-time work for yourself, represented by an agency. But kind of give me a little bit of the background, or, what do you tell people when they say, hey, Delphine, what do you do? What's your answer when they ask you that silly question?
Each time that someone asks me this question, I have to have a wide space.
That's okay. We got time.
Because the industry have box. And those boxes are very limited. They're fashion photography, documentary photography, art photography. And I never want to be a part of the box.
Yeah.
So what I discover is the potential of my own world creation within the vision narrative. This is something that the school of photography won't teach you. They will teach you to serve the industry, to choose to be a fashion photographer, lifestyle photographer, documentary photographer, or art photographer.
Yeah.
So I really had to work very hard to be able to put my work in every field. So now I can sell prints in the art world, work as a commercial photographer, doing fashion photography, and doing documentary photography.
Yeah.
So my world is every form of photography, but it's including the new vision of the Black woman. So it's something that I'm creating because I never seen this before.
Yeah.
So I recommend to someone who wants to do photography to study social science, the place that his own person, like being,
Yeah.
is represented in society. And from this perspective, which is you choosing another point of view, then from this point of view, you can finally see the world in a different dimension than the one that they always want to feed you, which is a limitation because it's dividing. And that's what we're experiencing this year. A huge division, a multiplication of division, of gender, of race, of colors, like they won't stop. So this is why I'm coming with that vision, because it's inclusive.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think, I think a lot of photographers, we're getting deep first, which I love. I think a lot of photographers, the balance of creating the work that you want to create while making that living, making money,
Of course,
is such a hard
so hard
dynamic. When for you, I know outside of school you started, you actually did like motion graphics, you did some video editing, did graphic design, and so I feel like, and that comes off like, at least on your Instagram and your site, your work is so, it's not just photos, it's not just pictures, right? There are these visions that I feel like you're creating. But have you always, I feel like getting to create what you want to create and making a living is like a place that you eventually get to. Has it always been that way for you? Or did you, when you first started, did you say, okay, yeah, I need to make some things it's at least it's better than having a quote unquote regular job. And then when did it really take off for you to where you could create for yourself?
So for anyone who is inspired by the story, people have to know the dedication or the commitment that it takes to change your life, because nobody's going to dream about it except you. So most of people, when they get out of school of art, school of visual art, they want to be a part of the industry. And the industry needs a form that they created. So let's say my shift happened when I was done to give it to them what they asking me to do. So when I start my journey as a photographer, I was already 31. I worked 7 years in the industry. I was broken inside. I didn't find any more inspiration. And I decided to move in New York and start a new life and not be able to go back to the office and production. So yeah. I decided to work in a restaurant for 1.5 years. And then I was able to build the photography work while I was there, because I got 3 days off, 4 days off. So I needed to buy time. Once I buy that time, I built the work. I didn't know what I was doing. I just photographed my life
Yeah.
until, like a meaningful vision will start to come. And I was
Okay.
like, okay, there is something here. Yeah.
That's cool. What when you would start to find, that vision, that kind of that spark while you're working at the restaurant, for those days off, were you working a lot, just to try and keep creating and like to kind of keep the fire alive?
Let's be honest. There is no success achievement with no hard work, and realizing, for example, that you spend 15 years of your life in school, going to school 5 hours a day until you're a kid. Since you're a kid. And then suddenly, when you have to deal with like making yourself the real human being that you are, you can work like this. So I did a commit to myself. I said, I'm going to work in the restaurant, but then on the side, I'm going to work all the time on photography. Going to ICP, developing the work, shooting the picture. I didn't have so much money. I used 3 film rolls per week. That was the deal.
That's awesome. When did you decide, you went to school in Paris, did you know you wanted to be into graphics and creative, services before then? Or like, how did you know that you wanted to start creating and making artwork?
Well, I always knew that my brain was a creative. So there's a left brain and the right brain. I was belonging 100% to the right brain. So creativity for me, it's super easy. I live creativity. I sleep creativity. I eat creativity. So of course that was normal for me to be doing School of Visual Arts, photography, darkroom, graphic design, video editing, post-production, art direction. I mean, I did it all in this spectrum of the production of vision. So that's why I step out. I was like, okay, I don't like those visions. I'm out. So then
cool.
If I had this statement, at 31, I start to realize if you against it, it's not enough. You just need to create a conversation where the male gaze is going to be able to have a discussion with you about the vision, especially women, especially black women. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What does as a black woman, right, from Senegal raised, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel like there's been progress in developing, a different gaze than like, the male gaze, the white male gaze in artwork? And then 2, do you feel like you've been a part of that? Do you feel like you've been able to create both work that represents you, and then also like a lot of your subjects are persons of color or black women, and it's awesome. Do you feel like you've been able to make a dent in that at all, even just a little bit?
I think honestly, after 10 years, I opened the door. Because I got a discussion with Peter Beard, and Peter Beard is if people doesn't know about him in the photography world, Peter Beard was an amazing photographer, an artist, photographer, collagist. And I had the opportunity to work with him 6 months in 2008 when I was lost. I saw what he was doing with the women and the male gaze. And his work is fantastic. You see? So we here have a different questioning. we're not questioning the beauty and the quality of the work. We are questioning the point of view and the male gaze. So all my journey started because I had to answer Peter Beard. He asked me, if you not agree with me, show me what you mean. He could not process what I mean by the male gaze.
Yeah.
So in my work for 10 years, I finally find it, which is the opposite of the male gaze. I'm focusing the vision and the beauty on integrity, dignity, elegance, sensuality. Like they're all part of this blueprint that the male gaze in the photography world didn't develop.
Yeah. Can you tell me, give me a practical example, if there is one, to, maybe what that would look like on the end of the photo, right? So, all four of those things are awesome, right? They're great. What does that look like visually? Is there a different way to shoot that, or, is there a different thing you're looking for?
Of course, for example, I needed to have a work who can be understood by many. So it means I had to go back to study history, tradition, belief system, religion, and bringing back the time where the matriarchal society were actually showing a different vision of women, and where the women in society had a different role. So all the women that you see in my work, they in real life have a skill. They're just not pretty. All of the women in my work, they're all my friends. They're all creatives. Right. You see, so the reason I am answering the male gaze, it's the women in my work are not an object. They're a subject. And all of them, you can go and interview them. They'll be amazing.
That's incredible. That's great. So they're not just models,
they're not
you're
model.
Trying to, yeah. That's super cool. That's awesome. What was the journey like? You talk about the 10 years of developing, your style and your gaze. When you were first starting, were there times, this is something I felt as a photographer, where I have something in my head and as it develops, it's kind of like a song, and there is a lot of elements that I'm thinking about. There is how dynamic the photo is, what I want it to feel like, both, the expression from me, but also whoever will see it, right? Or hear the song, if you will. So, but oftentimes when we create, especially at the beginning of our journey, it doesn't line up. It doesn't match up. And that's frustrating. Did you experience any of that on your journey where you made work that you had a vision and it didn't line up? It wasn't exact to your vision yet. Or were you always, very pushy, or not pushy, but very, were you persistent? Did you stay strong and create, during those times when you were still new?
Well, when you're new, you can't judge yourself so much. So I knew, for example, then I have a range of time, a year to 2 years, to be more judgmental about the work. But at the beginning, I want to build a world. So a world is not a picture. A world, it's like a song. But the song is a song of your life. So that's complicated to find.
Yeah.
It's not just a single. So you're not trying to get a single. You're trying to create, let's say, a Bob Marley world. That's not going to get easy.
Yeah.
So I like the one and you talk about music because I'm so into music. I can't
Yeah.
live without music. I'm listening so many different music because the music resonates into the phone. So if I send you a playlist right now, that's gonna be a playlist of the world.
Yeah. Right. Or at least how you're expressing, the world at the
Yeah,
moment,
like
right?
India, Africa, uh, Ukrainian religious women,
Right.
Native American powwow, uh, like crazy electro from Mexico and from South Africa. Like my playlist is into the realm of consciousness. It has no bridge.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. For photographers, a lot of them, because of a lot of photographers these days aren't going to school for photography. They're picking it up on their own, and I like that. I think that is a good thing. But I'm curious about, you came from a formal instructional background, having a mentor, going to school. What's one of those things about mentorship that many photographers wouldn't know? I think a lot of photographers see a mentor now and they say, yeah, I want you to give me what I want. But I know for you, and as somebody who's been mentored and I mentor others, that is not the case. The mentor is not there to give you what you want. So what was that process like? Was that a lot of confrontation, or, what was that process like?
I think Peter saw that I have the gift of vision because he saw some of my work in Senegal and I photographed before I met him. And he was interested to push me. So we didn't talk about technical stuff. Like Peter Beer is against technique. And myself, as a technician, I don't care much within the process. I just need my tools, but I'm not going to talk about my tools. So Peter and I were very similar when we create an image. And he knew that was very intuitive. So what he developed in me is the fact that we don't need to know 100% of what's going to happen when we're going to do a picture. And it was come from a very intuitive energy. It's you placing things in space and live life. Means live with the subject, experience something with him or with her in your house. He didn't tell me like this, but when I saw him doing it, you can see that he didn't know much. I mean, like how he will be shooting it before it started. And I think it's something that we never learn from professional. They're always trying to teach you how to frame perfectly, how to do the portrait perfectly. So there is a huge control in photography of the photographer itself.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like, photography school and even the few classes I've taken, it's like, it's similar to, I went to college for music. And so I love music, play guitar, but you can't teach expression, you can only unlock it, if you will, or, enable it or pour gas on the fire, if you will, and that's hard, and I think one of the things I was kind of thinking about when we were talking is that journey of creating what you want and what you feel is a struggle that I think a lot of people don't want to get. It's similar to working out, like if you want to be healthy or want a six pack or want, whatever, fitness goals, the process to get there is it's not going to be fun. It's not necessarily going to be the easy road, because it's like that mentorship pulls you, at a certain way, or you're chasing your vision. And I think that is like, photographers are scared of that, because at first, you're playing with a camera, right? And you're like, oh, this is fun. Like this is exciting. And it should be. But as you chase your vision, you have to challenge yourself and keep going. And I think photographers, artists in general, we're afraid of disappointment. But it's like, I'm sure you've made work in the past where you're like, okay, this is not my favorite. This is not going in the portfolio. Do you still, even now, are you still working outside of the things you get hired for, to keep that personal work, to keep that creative drive?
I mean, I like to work commercially because it allowed me to challenge myself. And I don't have to deal with me and the work and me all the time. I don't have this personality. So I like to be challenged with new teams, new creatives who are willing to collaborate with me. So during the year, every year, I have good commercial creative agency or people from brand who contact me and ask me for collaboration. And I like it because I need to find another form for the collaboration. And sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't, but it's fine. I just really feel the commercial work should fund my art.
Yeah.
Because I never believed it would never happen to me. All the grants, all the stuff that I applied for 10 years, I always have a refusal. And my childhood or school, it was the same. You always kind of don't fit what they want anyway. And it's a statement. I'm not going to do the black photography showing misery, slavery, everything was actually nothing to do with my expansion of the future and the future of the black narrative. I don't want to be stuck in the past. I know the past. I study it. Now I want a black narrative who is expanding to a vision that people who are not black can understand. So I'm beyond the niche, I just want to show the beginning and say, hey, did you see the most oppressed women were black women because they're always being an object. If suddenly in vision, you got the possibility to transform them in a subject, you're going to see that even in your real life, you're going to see them differently. So I use vision as a spiritual tool for changing the psyche and the underlayer of a Western society who were actually sick of vision.
Yeah.
And I'm one drop of water in it.
Yeah. I think you mentioned, I was reading in our research that you said art diffuses wisdom, enlightenment, fear, beauty, ugliness, mystery, faith, strength, fearless, and universal matter. And I have this theory that I feel like you'll agree with, that art can be like a song, right? Or like a photo, can be an ambassador for a story. To kind of like you said, if someone doesn't know the stories of Black women, right? Or the oppression, or the beauty, right? Or like you mentioned, the beauty and the perfection. And maybe they've never met somebody like that, right? The art can change that opinion, or the art can be the first glimpse to where they're shining a light in a dark place that they had never felt before. And that's one of the things I think I love about creating an art, is that we get a chance to say, hey, here is something that might not be on your mind, or might not be in your vision all the time, or this is a different way of thinking about this, which is so valuable.
Which is really hard, because when people doesn't have a connection, they don't want to connect. So what happened is, like, the Western world creates disconnection within humans, because some humans are better than others, and it's because of color. So imagine the work that the new generation has to do to deconstruct the sickness psyche that has been going on for more than 500 years. Like, I'm not just talking about America. I'm talking about a state of affair worldwide, where the women and the Black women had no voices. They only can be represent as an object, beautiful, but with not much thinking. So the patriarchal society perpetuated a space where actually the women and the women of color are not really smart. That's why they created. So if you have a girl, you're a dad, and you have a girl, and you want to inspire your daughter, or your daughter wants to be a physician or astronaut or a photographer, that's going to be really hard for the Black person, the mother or the dad, to find a role model for the little girl.
Yeah.
The only industry where Black women are fairly represented and Black people are represented, it's the music industry. This is where the space is actually more universal. That's why we love music. But in the rest of the entertainment, the vision, the art world, then suddenly there is no space for it. Like I'm in Paris. We're exhibiting at Paris Photo. 800 photographers, 200 women photographer represented.
Wow.
And 5 women of color.
What?
Yes. So even me, I didn't know. And I'm breathing, and I'm like, gosh, that's a lot of work. But I could not be that aware. Because if I would be aware of the less 5% that I'm representing, I would never do the work. So the job in the vision, and I'm using the word vision because I know that the new generation is interested to do video, to do photography, to do movie. They need to balance a very unfair vision. So inclusiveness, as we come back to it, it's supposed to be practice, but not tokenism. And right now, what we're experiencing this year, I had experienced tokenism because everybody wants to work with me.
Yeah.
But they don't want to work with me. They want to work with the Black women.
Yeah.
So I can't even be joyful.
Right. It
I'm
feels
like, I'm
wrong,
saying
right?
yes, and I'm like, all right.
Yeah, it feels wrong, right? It feels like
it
you're
feels there is a healing process to happen, but nobody really wants to sit and discuss.
yeah. Yeah. They want it's like they want a medal on their chest that says, "Oh,
Yeah, you
I
can
work
do
with black
that.
people." Yeah.
You call me, they say like National Geographic call me, they hire me, Washington Post call me, another company call me. In the 3 days, they want to hire me to send me all around America to street protest. It was too much. Even me, the feeling, I'm like, wow, you just called me because you want me to shoot my brother and sisters screaming.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a lot, man, because we already struggling in a space who doesn't want to hire us. Then we have to feel grateful when they hire you because we are black.
Yeah.
So I can't wait when people is going to really hire me because they love the work, number one priority. That's why I feel
Yeah.
for me as a black woman, is the struggle. It's the struggle. It's like Toni Morrison say it. You see me this way. I don't see myself this way. Because I'm a human being. I wake up every morning and I don't have to look at myself in the mirror and say to myself, I'm black. No. I wake up, I feel free, I want to do the work, I want to create.
Yeah. No, totally. It's got to be a weird sensation when those companies call you, right? Nat Geo, Washington Post, The Times, whoever. And, it's hard, right? Because as an artist and, you want to get paid and there's some excitement, right?
Yeah.
Maybe at the first call, but by the third call, it feels less like an energy shift and more like exploitation. Like it's less about Delphine's art and more about Delphine, which is, again, if it was normal, if it was normative, if it was universal all the time, that'd be okay. But you can tell when it feels like, something bad happened to people that look like me. Now I'm going to get all these phone calls, from these companies that want to.
Imagine already the 4 months with no work, and then the first work then you have to do is only to shoot like black people in pain.
Yeah, it's trauma. Yeah, that's awful.
I just did
we
one.
Can laugh, but
I just did one. But like when people ask me, are you shooting protests? We're going to document you photographing protests, like from everywhere, not just from America, from France.
Yeah.
TV, big TV. I just say, no, I'm not going to do it. Because they want me to be the tune for showing the black pain. I'm not okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's tough. That's got to be a hard line. The last thing I wanted to ask you about was, for the creatives of color who maybe they can't say no to something like that, right? They maybe need the money. Yeah. Like, how does that work? Or what would you say yes to? What would feel right in those scenarios, right? Because on paper it looks like a good idea.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Delphine is an expert. It's like having again the gaze matches the subject, right? And that's incredible, right? And that's like something different. But so what is the right answer? Do they just need to hire you for normal stuff too, right? Non-race related stuff. Like they said, Delphine, we just want you to do our cover, or we want you to do like, how does that work? What do you feel that would be optimal for you?
So recently I got this great experience with White Wall Art magazine.
Yeah.
And they did a cover with me, and they said, Delphine, we want to do the cover with you. We want you to photograph Carbito from Pyre Moss fashion brand, black designer, which has got a big deal with the Reebok. And we want to have a conversation between him and you that we're going to actually put in the magazine as well. So we're going to promote your work as well. Plus the pictures of him on the cover that you shot. I think that was a very gentle move. They want to hear what I had to say, and they want to see the work on the cover. I was really happy with the decision because they want to know who I was. They want to know who am I?
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this is exactly what I'm waiting for or like asking for. Who am I? Like, you just realize so much depth into the photography work that I'm doing. It's not superficial. That's why I'm not interested when you call me for fashion editorial. Because you asking me to use women as an object again. So even if let's say I have a campaign right now where I have to photograph women in underwear for Cup. It's like a new company, different shape and form of like underwear. And I love it. They call me and they ask me, we want to work with you. We want to see what you can do for us. So it means they allow me to change the gaze. You got it?
Yeah.
They change the gaze. So how women who actually work 10 years in subjectifying women can now come to the commercial world and show them what is a woman as a subject, even in underwear.
Yeah. Yeah. If anything, especially, right? Because of the nature of those photos, they have to be, you want to make an effort to make it not feel, sexualized.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's very recent. Then people asking me to photograph women nude or naked because they know I don't objectify them. And it's very recent that the industry can understand the gaze actually.
Yeah.
It's probably like a year.
Yeah, but that's good. I mean, that's
good. Yeah,
it's kind of that's the dream, right? Is to one, be invited to create rather than like capitalistically called, like you need the money, right? Like if you're invited and they're just like, Delphine, what's your vision for this? Here's what we're hoping for. What do you think? And then I think too, like, yeah, it's and I think that's another way that we can end on this is that art is, something as silly as shooting some underwear campaigns for women, different shapes, sizes, colors, but that is also going to have a positive effect on women in general, right? Who see that work.
People have no ideas how vision can change your perception.
Yeah.
So the creative agency, the art director, the people who had the position to decide the campaign have no understanding of vision. In a spiritual and in a psyche sense of it. So the problem is if in the industry you have people who doesn't understand the gaze, they keep repeating the gaze from the past because they believe it's the only form who works.
Yeah.
And we experiencing a big shift this year. It's a great news.
Yeah. When it's the shift of the purchaser, the viewer of the product or the magazine ad or whatever, it's that intentionality there. It's working out. So
you know why?
Cool.
Because suddenly when the shift happened and people see those pictures, they're like, again, oh my God, I can't stand it. That's it. Like this year, it's like Vogue magazine, all those magazines, they can't post fancy editorial like before. People doesn't care anymore. That's why they have to hire artists.
Yeah, absolutely. Professional communicators, translators, who are artists.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, Delphine, it was incredible getting to know you a little bit, and I loved that you were comfortable sharing about your work and your style. What do you have? What's exciting happening for the rest of the year for you? Anything artwork wise or projects you're working on that you're excited about?
I mean, life itself, it's a challenge. I don't think we can separate ourselves from what's happening worldwide anymore. That's the first realization that everybody has to understand. And the decision that we're taking for our friends, our parents, like this flow, right? That we want to make sure that everybody's okay, even if I make my dream happen. It's a part of my big opening heart in my work or in my creative. So what is exciting right now is I'm selling the work in different places around the world. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm selling the work in different places around the world.
That's awesome. That's cool.
So Florida, Dubai, UK, everywhere.
Wow. That's crazy. As an American, right, where we traditionally don't travel as much. I've traveled a little bit, but I've been to Paris. But I'm like, oh yeah, we need to go to Dubai. That'd be awesome. That's cool. Where's the best place for people to go find your work? And I feel like you're pretty active on Instagram. Can people message you, say hi, tell you what they thought about the work, ask you questions?
Sure. Usually I'm really present. The fan base that I have, they're not bothering me much. It's nice because I don't have crazy DM. I have good amount of DM during the day. I can keep answering if I feel I can answer. Sometimes I don't answer, especially if people ask me about like where I can find your work. Like, you got my website, you got my Instagram, you got my email. What do you want?
Yeah.
But
yeah, absolutely.
There is a lot of opportunity who came to me through Instagram for sure.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, yeah, we will link people to the Instagram on there. Thanks so much for coming on. It was incredible to have you speak, and I'm excited. And next time I'm in Bushwick, I will probably text you and be like, hey.
Yeah, stop by the studio.
That'd be awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Delphine.
Thank you.
What a good freaking episode. Absolutely love Delphine. She is just, I feel there's people who take photos, right? And then there's Delphine. And it's just another level of intentionality and work. And kind of in our conversation, one of the things I love she said was, it took me 10 years at least, to find that voice or that, where work she was really happy with or could complete, where the vision and what she made aligned. And I think a lot of us would have given up a lot sooner. And it shows in Delphine's work that she is putting that work into it. So absolutely love her. Go check her out on Instagram. Say hi. Tell her the Bearded Tog sent you. Guys, we have lots of workshops in our Facebook community coming up about, being a successful full-time photographer without selling your soul. Sometimes there are guests. Other times it's me teaching SEO, ironing out your sales process, how to get more leads, not getting ghosted, all kinds of fun stuff in our Facebook group. Go check that out, togfp.com. If you haven't gotten the wedding guide yet, You can do that at mpweddingguide.com. Have a wonderful day, guys. Keep being awesome.